Vayomer Kamani Yadati Hechashu. Vayomer lo Eliyahu, pasuk 4 of chapter 2 of Kings 2. Vayomer lo Eliyahu Elisha, Shev nafo. Ki Adonai shlachani Yericho. Vayomer Chai Adonai v'chei nafshecha im ezveka. Vayavo Yericho. Before we continue reading more about Eliyahu's arrival to Yericho, although we may have thought that when Eliyahu finished his job vis-a-vis Achav, some of us were a bit surprised to see him back in action. And apparently he has to finish the matters of Achav and his family. And we saw his debut in the last chapter, bringing about or prophesizing about the death of the son of Achav, Achaziah. Here is the beginning of the end of what we call the physical embodiment of Eliyahu the prophet. The Tanakh, in a very dramatic opening, says that this event of chapter 2 is happening at the time that God will bring up Eliyahu in a stormy wind into the skies. And we're learning about his last appearance with his disciple, with his major student, Elisha. We'll explain why we're saying major student, meaning that there are others involved. And second, we're going to see several places that are the last stops of Eliyahu Navi before God brings him up to heaven. We'll try to understand what's so significant about these places. Third, why is he taken up? And fourth, how does it happen? Are the laws of gravity not working anymore? How does Eliyahu Navi, who's embodied, how does he go up? So, already the Tanakh here, at the beginning of the chapter, tells us that this event that's happening here is at the time that God is bringing up Eliyahu. In other words, the time has arrived. Eliyahu is finishing his physical life as if right now here, and he's going to be going up to the sky, which we don't, in science fiction movies, we read about these things, okay? Maybe in Star Trek or something like that, we read about these things, what? But we don't usually read about these things. It never happened to anyone and never will happen, lichora, after this event. What we do note is that Elisha, his student, is with him. They're walking. Place number one where they're walking from is Gilgal. Many of us probably think that this is what? The Gilgal in the Jordan Valley. Well, if we say that Pasuk Bet comes right after Pasuk Aleph, and here in Pasuk 2, Eliyahu tells Elisha, you don't go with me, you stay here. Why? God is sending me to where? To Beitel. So remain here in Gilgal. And Elisha, though, is adamant. He says, no, I'm stubborn. And he takes an oath, Chai Hashem. He swears in the name of God, Chai Hashem, v'chei nafshecha, in the life of you, I'm not going to leave you. Then, would you please tell me topographically, what does it state at the end of Pasuk Bet, verse 2? Last three words, Vayirdu Beit El. What's the problem?
It's going up.
If you're in Gilgal, like Shlomo says, and you're in the Jordan Valley right next to the Jordan River, and you're going to Beit El, well, you're climbing from maybe minus 100 meters, and you're climbing up to 800 meters. That's a 900 meter incline over the course of about 12, 13 kilometers, let's say approximately. But here in our Tanakh, this is the old edition, isn't it? Vayirdu Beit El. They went down to Beit El. So apparently there is another Gilgal. There's another Gilgal, and there are those that say that's the Gilgal that's next to the city of Shechem, as it's stated in Sefer Bereshit. So that's one meaning. We'll talk about Gilgal in any event in a moment, if it is the old one that we know next to the Jordan River. Nonetheless, Eliyahu is accompanied by Elisha. Now, why is Eliyahu commanding him not to be with him? Why does Eliyahu command him? So we see three answers approximately regarding this matter. Look, Eliyahu Hanavi knows that he's going to be rising up to heaven. Eliyahu wants to continue a certain amount of humility he has. He doesn't want anyone but anyone to see this magnificent event. Out of anava, out of humility, he wants to leave this world without people watching him, what he's doing, including Elisha the prophet. That's what Rashi says. The Dat Mikra of Mosad Rav Kook says that Eliyahu is testing Elisha. How much does Elisha want to cleave on to me? And therefore, time after time, he tells him, stay here. But Elisha senses something's happening. Maybe Elisha senses, and we'll explain it later, that this is the last debut of Eliyahu. And he doesn't want to miss anything. It's not that he wants to miss action. He wants to be close to the prophet. Furthermore, according to the Malbim, as long as Elisha is serving Eliyahu Hanavi, all the other prophets that exist in this generation are receiving this divine wealth, this divine light from God, only through Elisha. Okay? Only through Elisha. But if they can, the Malbim says this, Kol ot sheyesh mo'or gadol, alav yofia or ad sheyaset sinor ve'emtzi lashpi al kochavim ktanim. In other words, Eliyahu Navi wants Elisha to stay here. He can appear Eliyahu through other prophets, meet with them, and maybe these students, these future prophets, they'll be able to absorb the greatness from Eliyahu Navi. But Elisha doesn't want that. Elisha wants to cleave on. He less cares right now if other prophets will be cleaving on to Eliyahu Navi. And right now the greatness of Eliyahu Navi will come through a pipeline called Elisha. So there are two differences of opinion here. Now, where does he go to from Gilgal? He goes to Beitel. Okay? Notice in Pasuk Gimel, Vayitzu b'nei Navim asher Beitel el Elisha v'yimlav hayadata ki an. Now here's the meeting. Here's the meeting between the students of prophets and Eliyahu Navi. And they come out of Beitel. Why do they come out of Beitel? Why don't they bring Eliyahu Navi into the city? Is it a lack of hospitality? No. But they know that once upon a time, Beitel had idolatry there from Yerovam ben Nevat that led to it. And in honor of Eliyahu Navi, they're going out of the town so that he doesn't walk into a town where there was even once, maybe hundreds of years ago, idolatry. Maybe it's still there as well. But there happens to be an academy there for prophets as well. Interesting if that only started now after the death of Achav and his son. Nonetheless, they meet up with Elisha, and it sounds like they have a scoop. What are they saying? Hayadata, do you know that God is taking away your master? Now, how do they know? Was it publicized on the press? Of course not. But rather, apparently there's been this divine affluence in the world, this prophecy in the world, and it's not just that one person gets it. It could very well be that if Eliyahu Navi is getting prophecy that his life, his physical life is ending now, and he's going upstairs to the heaven, it could be that other prophets get bits and pieces of the prophecy. And therefore, Elisha knows about it. The other prophets, the students of the prophets know about it. And they want to make Elisha aware. Elisha, do you know that God is about to take your master away?
One second.
And one second, let me just finish. Thank you. And then what does he say? What does he say? Kamani adati. I know as well. And therefore, heichashu. They were quiet. They didn't speak anymore one to another. What do you want to say?
Last week we said that possibility no one knew who Eliyahu was.
They couldn't, meaning they couldn't.
From Yehuda.
Right, knowing meaning they don't know what he looks like. They could have very well heard about him in the generation, certainly heard about Mount Carmel, but they don't know what he looks like. Okay? So here it is, they're in Beitel, and now they continue their journey. Pasuk Daled, Vayomer lo Eliyahu Elisha, Shev nafo. I want you to stay there, don't join me. Ki Hashem shlachani Yericho. God is sending me to Yericho. Apparently got a prophecy in the meantime, and he has to go to Yericho. Okay? What does Elisha say? No, I'm not leaving you. And he takes again an oath in Hashem's name. Vayomer Chai Hashem, by the life of God, V'chei nafshecha, by your life, Im ezveka, meaning I will not leave you. And now, Vayavo, and they go to Yericho. So, Eliyahu Navi is traveling Gilgal, Beit El, Yericho. Why are these places pronounced here? What is the significance of these places? Let's read a little more, and then we'll try to put this together. Pasuk Hey, they're leaving Beit El. They're going down to the Jordan Valley. Some of you know that the road by Givat Asaf, if you go straight down, east, you'll arrive in the area of Yericho. Yericho and Beit El are quite parallel one to another. Of course, Yericho being on the east coast of the border of Eastern Eretz Yisrael. So there's a kvish that takes you straight down that goes to Mevoot, Taiba, Ofra Taiba. It takes you down from by Rimonim all the way down to the Jordan Valley. Here it is. Pasuk Hey, verse 5. Vayikshu b'nei hanevim asher b'Yericho. Here it is. There's another yeshiva for prophets. This one, though, is in Jericho, in Yericho. And they know and sense that Eliyahu Navi is coming. They have this spiritual insight. Okay? They approach Elisha, Vayimru elav, Hayadata? Ki hayom Adonai lokech et adonecha mi'al roshecha? Interesting, above your head. Meaning as if they know that Elisha will visibly see this matter, or it's said in some sort of an expression that I'm not aware of. But it's interesting they say you think God's going to take him from on top of your head.
Same wording.
Same wording. Vayomer, the response of Eliyahu Navi, Gamani adati, heichashu, I know, and that was the end of the discussion with the two. Summary. So far, Eliyahu Navi, as the Tanakh opens the chapter, he's about to leave this world, go up to heaven in the stormy wind that we're going to see soon. So he's in Gilgal, Beit El, Yericho. And who's with him all the time? His disciple. Elisha doesn't want to miss out on anything, cleaving on, attaching himself on to Eliyahu Hanavi. So before we go, let's go to one more place. And that is the next stop in Pasuk Vav, the Jordan River area. Vayomer lo Eliyahu, Shevna fo. Again, he tells his student, sit here, gives him an order, Shevna, as he did before. Ki Hashem shlachani hayardena. But now God is sending me further east to the Jordan River. Interesting, he's not wearing a swimsuit. He doesn't have a portable canoe in his hands. Doesn't have any boat. I'm going to the Jordan River. Vayomer, again Elisha, swears, Chai Hashem v'chei nafshecha im hezveka vayelchu shneihem. So, what we like to understand now is these places that Eliyahu Hanavi is visiting before he leaves this world. It could be that he could have gone to Haifa, he could have gone to Lebanon. Why these places? That he visits these places and then Hashem takes him up to the sky. What is the significance of these places? So, these are like stops in between stations before the bon voyage of Eliyahu. Why? Each place, Rabbi Ariel, one of the great rabbanim of the Ariel family from Nov in the Golan, he writes that these places, let's number them again: Gilgal, Beit El, Yericho, and the Jordan. 4 different places. You could have asked, he could have been taken away by God in Haifa, in Tel Aviv. Why these places? So he says, Rabbi Ariel, these places are like gates, openings that are worthy of noting if you're going in a transition from this world to the next world. These places are like in between stops, between this world and next world. Let's understand ourselves. Let's go according to the Arbar Benel, and let's right now ignore the question that we said before, that they went down to Beit El. From Gilgal, we say go up to Beit El. Let's ignore that question. Gilgal. What happened in the place called Gilgal? What happened there?
First place where
we opened up a camp. Okay? We camped there. What did we do there? 2 great mitzvot we did there as a nation, a new nation in the land. What 2 great mitzvot did we do in Gilgal during the time of Yeshua? There was a massive Brit Milah there. That's why the place is called Gilgal. What was rolled away? Our shame. A Jew, when he's not circumcised, it's considered a shame. It's a busha. We couldn't do Brit Milah in the desert because of the danger involved. We don't know when we're traveling. You can't travel with a newborn baby and a Brit Milah. The Talmud says in Masechet Sotah, in addition, there was no northerly healing wind. There was usually a healing wind. It didn't exist during these 40 years. So everyone that's born in the desert for 40 years does not have a Brit Milah. So the Brit Milah is done there. And furthermore, 4 days after we arrive, we have Chag HaPesach. So 2 national events happen in Gilgal that bring Israel closer to God. That is the Milah and Korban Pesach. Beit El, what is the central importance of Beit El? What happened in Beit El? Why is that like a stop in between this world and the next world?
it was Yaakov stopped on his way
Right.
both out of Lut and
What did Yaakov see? A ladder. That's the insignia of Beit El. Yaakov sees a ladder, angels going up and angels going down. That too is a gate between this world and the next world. There's a great place of prophecy of Yaakov Avinu. 3rd place, Yericho.
Yeshua's first conquest.
First conquest by Yoshua without shooting 1 bullet. It's a place of miracles. Okay? We surrounded the city, we walked around it 7 times, and then we blew the shofarot, and the walls of Yericho fell down miraculously, and we went in and blazed the city. So therefore, it's the first war, it's holy, it's the Reshit, the first war that we had. So these are 3 important places, and the Jordan maybe is a source of plenty of wealth, water. The area of Jericho is a very fertile area. but it could be that what's going to make Yericho very famous is the alighting of Eliyahu Navi. Now, it could be that Eliyahu Navi thought that when he was in Beit El, God would bring him up to heaven, because it's such a proper place. It's a place where the prophetic ladder was seen by Yaakov. Remember, Yaakov saw a ladder, angels going up, angels going down. Eliyahu thought maybe that when he gets to Beit El, he's going to walk on that spiritual ladder, and God will take him up to heaven. Okay, Malachei Elokim. However, God said, go to Jericho. So when God says, go to Yericho, he goes. Okay? The Jordan. Maybe we'll talk a little about the Jordan River itself. What is the centrality or importance of the Jordan River? It's the bridge between the eastern side of Eretz Yisrael and the western side. Which is more holy, the eastern or western side? Of course, the western side. So maybe here from the Jordan River, he's going to take him up. If we look back and meet up with the yeshiva students of prophecy, the Bnei Nevi'im in Beit El, we mentioned a moment ago that they came out to meet Eliyahu Navi. Certainly that's proper respect, proper honor, but as the Malbim explains, Eliyahu received a command to go until Beit El, ad Beit El, and not inside Beit El, because like you said, Beit El is a place of the Egel of Yeravamstein, and therefore the Bnei Nevi'im came out of the city. They came out of the city. I just want to make sure we understand another important point before we go forward. We asked not long ago, how did these prophets, these students of prophets, how did they know that Eliyahu Navi is going up to heaven? So, there's a wonderful metaphor that the Malbim, the great later commentaries, writes regarding a prophet. He compares a prophet to the human body. Okay? Let me just feel, there it is. My fingers right now are on my heart, and that muscle is pumping, right? It's pumping, and it's helping blood flow to all parts of the body. Do you know how long it takes for the blood to reach my fingertips? I don't know if it's 0.9 seconds, but as far as the pancreas, the bladder, the lungs, the spinal cord, the brain, it's much closer to the heart, isn't it, than my fingertips, okay? The heart supplies the blood supply to all parts of the body. Those parts of the body closer to the heart, they get maybe more blood or faster than they get blood. And God forbid, when the heart stops functioning, which organs sense the difficulty first? The ones that are further apart. The ones that are further apart, they will be, what is it called? Anemic? What is the term? Anemic. The fact that the blood stops. So too, regarding a prophet. The prophet of Israel, Elijah, Eliyahu, is about to what? About to leave this world. Until now, all prophets are benefiting in Eliyahu Navi's prophecy. Okay? Who will feel first the loss of Eliyahu? The ones that are more distant. The ones that are more distant, when the soul of Eliyahu Navi is about to depart from this world, the ones that are more distant from him will feel the netek, the disassociation, the disconnection between the two. So it could be very well that they sense something here in the prophetic air, that Eliyahu Navi, his soul, is about to leave this world, and therefore they sense it, and they tell Elisha, but Elisha knows as well. Because apparently if his teacher knows it, maybe he too received the prophecy as well. Now, Eliyahu arrives at the Jordan River. What does he do? Pasuk Chet, verse 8. Vaikach Eliyahu et adarto. He takes off his cloth. his cloak. Vayiglom, he rolls it, he folds it. Vayaket hamayim, smites the water of the river. Vayichatzu, and the waters part, split. Heina v'heina, to this side and this side. Vayavru shnehem b'charava, verse 8. And both of them now pass, walking from the west to the east on dry land. Look, is it true that when you take off your jacket and you hit the sea, it doesn't split?
Yeah, it's not usually.
So what's going on here? What's the significance? The taking off of his cloak, his jacket, folds it up and hits the water. So the Malbim has a beautiful explanation. He says the following. Right now, the body, the physical embodiment of Eliyahu the prophet is going through a process of purification. He's now becoming a person that the physical embodiment is about to be lost from him, about to be removed from him. So the Malbim says that two foundations that are very heavy in human beings, water and earth, which he has right now, are about to be relieved from Eliyahu Hanavi. And the fact that he takes his coat and he smacks with his coat, okay, he's basically eliminating. What is a cloak? The cloak is what clothes him, which embodies him, the physical aspect of Eliyahu Hanavi. That right now he's being relieved. He's being relieved from the earth side, the physical side, the outer garment of himself, and therefore he's being freed of that. And the fact that he's hitting water, water has weight, water has density. He's now being relieved of the foundation of water in his body. So therefore, in summary, 2 of the 4 elements that a human being has, including Eliyahu Navi, are now being taken off of him. The physical, the earthly side, and the side that he is of liquids with water. That means he's left with only 2 other elements, and they are air and fire. Air and fire. So right now, air and fire do not have weight, do they? And if they do not have weight, then the laws of physics will not limit him with the laws of gravity staying down here on the planet of Earth. So that's how some of the commentators explain. Right now he is like a golem. He's just like some sort of so-called embodiment, but now he's ready for whatever instruction God has, and the physical side of water and earth will not keep him down. Will not keep him down.
Okay. His body behind.
The body has been relieved from him. Okay, as the Radak says, Eliyahu nasa ruchani, vaguf kale ba'esha elyoni, v'shav kol yisod el yisodo. Each foundation or element that man is made out of, right now 2 are relieved from him. Each one has gone back to its place. The water is taken off of him, going back to its original waters. The earth is taken off of him. And Lechora, he has 2 elements left, air and fire. God does a miracle, the parting of the Jordan River. Did the Jordan River part historically before this? Joshua. So things are getting very interesting. Who's watching all of this? Elisha. The others are not. Pasuk 10, verse 9. Vayiche Ovram, as they're passing the Jordan River. V'Eliyahu Amar Elisha, Sha'al ma'aselach. Do you have any requests? Would you like me to do something for you? I'm very powerful now. Okay? I don't have the physical limitations that I formerly had. B'terem elakach me'imach.
But he still had a body.
The body side of him is gone.
So
He's like air and fire. And he says, according to this understanding of, I think, of the Malbim, and he asked Elisha, would you like to ask for something? because I'm about to say goodbye. Hashem is going to be taking me. Vayomer Elisha, he didn't ask for spaghetti and meatball. He didn't ask for a lasagna. He didn't ask for Chinese cuisine. What does he ask for? V'hina pi shnayim beruchacha Eli. Wow. I would like to have the double amount of spirituality that I have now. Really, the simple meaning, according to the Mitzudot David, I would like to have the spirit of prophecy double, twice as much as you had. Wow. He wants to get into the major leagues, huh? Elisha says, I want to be a super prophet. I would like to have double your prophetic powers. That's interesting. The Malbim says, no, it doesn't mean double of what you have. Just give me your principal value of prophecy, what you had, give that to me. And I had what I had until now. 1 + 1 is 2. I have my prophetic level. Now I will have your prophetic level if you agree. And I'll be really special. I'll be Elisha plus Eliyahu. That's what he's asking for. Okay?
I mean, he did a lot of things. I mean, my first school, whatever. He made oil. He revived the dead.
So we're going to see he's going to make many things. My dear friends, Pasuk Yud, verse 9. Vayomer hikshita lishol. Okay? Aren't you a little too much asking for too much? I can't. Why? Rashi gives a wonderful pshat here. Rashi says, "I efshar latet lacha yoter mima sheyesh li biyadi." Look, I can only give you what I have. In other words, if you're asking for double, I can't give you. I don't have it. I only have who I am. And you're asking for twice his amount? I can't give you. So apparently Rashi is going according to the meaning, like the Mitzudot, that he's asking for double. I can't give you. Okay, let's read it in the words. Vayomer hikshita l'sho. You made it so difficult in what you're asking. Im teroti lukach meitach yilach achein v'im ayin lo yeh. Says, look, in spite of what I just said, if you do see me leaving this world, taken away from you, then you'll have it. And if not, not. So that's interesting. Why? Rashi gives a very practical explanation. Rashi says, if you see me being taken going up to heaven, then I can do a lot of other things that I couldn't do when I was down below. Rashi says, Az uchal asod lecha yoter v'yoter. Look, when I get up, if I'm going to be going up to the sky, then I'm going to be in a very spiritual level. Then I can give you what you're asking for. You want a lot, I can give you a lot of spiritual powers. But if you see me still here, then I can't give you any more. We'll continue with this point in our next shiur of Hashem.